Dumelang, Sanbonani, good day. 7 days left to the national elections. Are you ready? Is your ID ready? Have you made up your mind on which party are you voting for on the 29th of May? In studio, I have ATM, African Transformation Movement. It is led by Vuyo Zungula in Parliament. They've been very vocal around the issues of corruption and maladministration. In studio, I have the MMC of Community Development, Mr. Lubabalo Magwentshu. My leader, welcome to the studio. How are you?
I'm good. And yourself?
No, we're doing well. We're doing very well. Very much excited to see what South Africans will decide who to vote on the 29th of May. But I think let's kind of start the conversation with politics. Where did it all start? You as a leader, have you always been a politician, or is something that came out on your way?
No, it's not a matter of me having been a politician. Yes, I was at some stage involved in student politics because I come from a family that is involved in politics. We've got my uncle, Lubabalo Magwentshu, was involved in politics. I've got many other relatives that were involved in politics. Some of them were even in exile. But I was never really, or I did not see myself as a political person, although I was involved in the student politics. But I started to be fully involved now in politics when the church that I belong to, a church that I'm the member of the board, I'm the member of the church called 12 Apostles Church in Christ, when the church decided to say it cannot keep quiet when things are not going all right in South Africa.
Yes.
It needs to be involved in politics because the members of the church and the members of the public in general were suffering from what the government was doing. Then a decision was taken to say, you know what, let us therefore be involved in politics. That's when I then started to be involved in politics.
So would you say that being a spiritual person, this is more of a church-based or a faith-based political party?
Yes, ATM is a faith-based organization. It's a faith-based national party because we are there in all the provinces. It was formed by a council of churches called South African Council of Messianic Churches, of which the 12 Apostles Church in Christ is a member of that council. And it was also formed by kings. There were kings that were also involved, the chiefs, traditional leaders that were part of the formation. That is why even today we've got amongst our members traditional leaders that are part of the leadership of the organization.
So I'm going to ask you a question then. What makes you different from other, like your ACDP, your other faith-based type of political parties?
Okay. One, ATM is a party that was never formed out of anger. When I say it was not formed out of anger, it's a party that was not formed because someone was not happy wherever he was. But it was a party that was formed because the people were not happy with what was happening in the country. And yes, of course, those people were people from the church.
Yes.
Now, what is happening with ATM, the difference mainly, firstly, in terms of the spirituality, is the fact that it's allowing everyone, as long as the faith is being the center. And all of us, we've got faith, whatever you believe in. But there is faith.
So that's including Sangomas, including the Hindus.
That's including Sangomas. It's including the Hindus. We're not excluding them. Because remember, we need a government. When we're in government, we need a government that will service everyone, regardless of where that person belongs to. So you cannot therefore exclude. That is why ATM is not excluding anyone in that.
No,
and also, ATM is a values-driven political party.
That's where I was coming to, because there's been discussions around how faith-based organizations could play a role in moral regeneration. As you have seen that our country right now, you would think that there is no moral code that we ascribe to. There was a time where we used to have assemblies in schools. There was a religious school, religious classes, but now as time went by, it seems like the religious values, the value systems are slowly going out, and we have more liberalism taking over. The position of the party on that?
There are many other things that need to be changed in actual fact in our country, starting with the constitution itself. Remember, the constitution that we currently have, as much as it is said that it's the best constitution in the world. Yes, it is best because it's allowing everyone to come in and do as he pleases. It's not really the will of the people. The constitution that we have is a constitution that was as a result of a negotiated settlement.
Yes.
It was not a constitution that was based on the will of the people. That is why in most cases you'll find that the constitution is not supporting the people, is not supporting what the people want. You'll find that what is there in the constitution and what the people really want on the ground. It's two different things, because that is a problem. That is why we also, when we get into power, and we get the two-thirds majority, we'll therefore definitely change the constitution so that it suits the people of South Africa. Because tell me, if this constitution is the best constitution, why is America not taking it? Why is all the European countries not copying it? It's because it's allowing everyone to do as they please. Everyone has got rights.
Yes, but I think then how do we then bring back the faith? Do we encourage churches, people to go to church more? How do we revive the moral regeneration using the value systems, either be it Christianity, either it be Islam, either it be your sangomas around the issues of Ubuntu? How do we revive values back into society?
It's important that from an early age. Remember, these things are taught from an early age.
Yes.
At school, kids should be taught about these values. The values of Ubuntu, kids should be taught about such things. Because right now, you find contradicting statements where you find that a child at the age of 12 years is said, no, this child can commit abortion. She can abort without even consulting the parents. Already you are saying this child is independent of the parent. So remember now, this child can then do whatever he or she wants to do, because she does not have guidance. Even teachers are not able to guide the child because there's this kids have got rights. We're not saying they should not have rights, but we're just saying those rights should be limited. They should be guided.
There should be parent involvement. Kids can self-govern themselves. I'm gonna go into this issue. Gauteng, as we stand, it's what they call it the hub of Africa, the economic hub of Africa. But at the same time, again, this is the place where crime is high. This is the place where there is no water, there's no electricity. Somebody would say we are literally at the edge of collapse. And what ATM in terms of housing? What is your plan around housing for our people? We have seen many squatter camps around here. We have seen people squatting everywhere. Do you guys have a plan in terms of Gauteng, how to avail house or to provide housing for our people?
Okay. You must first understand why are our people living in squatter camps. Because there is no one who would want to go and live in a squatter camp.
True.
But the reason why people live in squatter camps is because of the various socio-economic challenges that they are faced with, with unemployment being one of those. Now, to address the issue of housing, you must also address the issue of unemployment. In actual fact, once you deal with the issue of unemployment, you will then be able to deal with most of the social ills that are as a result of unemployment.
No, I get a MMC. What you find is most people would say, okay, some who've been in squatter camps, they are working to some extent. Maybe they can't afford their rent in the city, or they can't afford a proper place. Maybe they have more than 5 mouths to feed. The current government has been providing RDPs. They've been providing what they call housing that is subsidized by the state. Will that be the same modus operandi with the ATM government?
That will do, but the first thing, that's why I'm saying we need to first address unemployment. Because you're giving people houses, but you do not give them employment. These people end up selling these houses to people that come to South Africa illegally, so that cannot have houses. Then they sell these houses. So at the end of the day, you've not done anything, and they go and live in those squatter camps because they need this money. So hence, I'm then saying, the first thing that we would then need to address here, as much as I will come to this, but I'm saying let us first start here, because when we start here, we'll then understand our responses when it comes to this.
So let's go there directly,
Yes.
actually. 65% of the youth is unemployed. People who are above the age of 35, most of them are also unemployed. What is the ATM's plan for job creation in the province or even nationally?
Okay. Firstly, our country has got so many mineral resources. Gold, platinum, iron ore, manganese, you can name them. And these resources are exported as raw materials. They are exported as raw materials to European countries, to America, to go create employment opportunities in those countries. And as the ATM, we are therefore saying, when you get into power, we will ensure that we invest in equipment, we invest in resources that would enable us as a country to be able to process these raw materials, such that when they are processed, we then export them as finished products. Because when you process them within the country, it therefore means you are creating employment opportunities within the country instead of creating employment opportunities in other countries. Yes, during the apartheid era, it was the government that was there did not have the best interest of South Africans. That is why it did that. That is why the trade agreements were allowing for that. The mistake that the current government did was to continue with that legacy, the legacy of apartheid. Now we are saying we need to change that. Because that is why when we talk about land, we're saying land should be returned to the people. Because remember, the struggle was never about anything else, but the struggle was about the land and its resources. Now, now, when you're having these resources, you have them processed here in South Africa, you export them, you would have created employment. That's one. Secondly, in terms of employment, you've just said the fact that some people live in squatter camps because they cannot afford to rent.
rent.
Yes. It's because the employment opportunities are in areas where our people are not living in. So employment opportunities should be created closer to where people live.
Yes.
So that is where we would therefore need to have factories that will be able to be closer to where people live. Right now, there's issues of the 350 rands that people are given to say it's 350 rands. For us, that is a demonstration of a government that is not willing to address the issue of unemployment. Because if the government was willing to address the issue of unemployment, instead of giving people these 300 rands, they would have then maybe create a factory, even if it's a factory for toothpicks. Because right now, you get toothpicks that are made in China. I mean, how do you import a toothpick? Are we saying our people will not be able to manufacture toothpick? It's clear that we are dealing with people that do not have the best interest of the people.
So, MMC, just to touch base on, because you spoke about land. When we get this land back, do we nationalize it? Do we give it to kings? Do we give it to individuals? How do we redistribute this land?
Okay. Our land You know, that's one of the challenges that we have in the country. Because what has happened, the land belonged to the kings.
Yes.
Now you find a situation where kings are then relegated and ward councillors are then promoted. Instead of having a system that would ensure that these two work together. Now, the land, once you've got the land, the land should be controlled at a central point.
Yes.
Like it used to be controlled at a central point when there was a king or the chief or the traditional leaders, because they would not decide alone, but it's just that they are the head of that area. And when people want land, they will sit, there's a committee that looks into that. It's okay, this land can be given to so and so.
Yes.
But now, when you're talking of land, when we're trying to address what has already happened in the past, also taking into consideration the fact that there are mineral resources that we're also talking about that must benefit the entire country now. That land needs to belong
to the kings.
It should be nationalized.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It should be nationalized. Yes. Remember now, kings are mostly in the rural areas, so that land should still belong to them. But
urban areas must be nationalized.
Yes.
There's this part where there was a mining charter at some point where they said rather than nationalizing, we are going to go into partnership with mine owners, and 30% of the mines profit will go towards the state, and the mines will still retain 70%, including that they also do community CSI. Isn't that maybe a workable plan, or do you think taking it on the idea of nationalization, would it not also scare whoever is an investor to these companies?
Not necessarily scare them, because what we need to do, that's where education also comes in, because we need to ensure that as you take these mines, as you take this land, you also have got you are able to capacitate the people. You are able to train them to ensure that they are able to use the land effectively. So, because it would not help to take the land and then you don't capacitate the people to ensure that they work the land.
Yes, because I think the idea was to say let's rather share with the private sector than to take it.
Remember now, these things should be done gradually. They should be done gradually. We do it gradually to ensure that at the same time we still are able to serve the people.
Yes.
Because remember now, if you are to just come in tomorrow and take out and take everything, it will not work. Because you would not have skilled these people. You don't have capacitated them. That is why, as part of our education system, we are saying as the ATM, the education system as well needs to be changed. It should be an education system that talks to the needs of the economy. It should be an education system that is skills-based. It should be an education system that enables the child to think about being the employer, not being the employee.
Yes, I think that is one issue that is very important. I'm going to touch base on this, MMC. I remember there was a time where there was a military conscription in South Africa. Yes. And Gauteng right now, people don't feel safe anymore. We have over, I think, 100 security companies around the province. We also have subs. Panyaza has brought in Panyaza. But yet, we still don't feel safe. How do we make the people of Gauteng feel safer under the ATM government?
You know, this is where one other area where the government is failing to govern.
Yes.
The number one responsibility of any government is the safety of the citizens.
Yes.
It's the safety of the people. And the people should not be told that you are safe. The people should actually feel that they are safe.
Yes.
Right now, we are all prisoners. We are all prisoners you might not be in prison, but you are a prisoner even in your own home. When you get home, you open the gate, you lock the gate. You open the burglar door, you open the door, you lock the burglar door, you lock the door. You go to your room, you open the door, you lock the door. In our fact, you are a prisoner in your own house, but the only difference is that the key here is with you. Unlike the prisoner in prison, because the key is not with him.
Yes.
And that cannot be. You cannot have a situation where you are afraid to walk on the streets with your phone. If you are carrying your phone, you must think twice. You sometimes you even put it on silent.
Yes.
Because you are scared that something can happen. So you don't want to attract people that can come in.
Yes.
And that is a failed state. It's a clear indication that is a failed state, because the moment people are not feeling safe, the moment people start feeling the need to protect themselves and have guns, it's a problem.
So how do we fix it under the ATM?
Firstly, under ATM would ensure that we educate the people. There should be programs that educate people to be law-abiding citizens.
Patriotism.
Because that is also key. Because we cannot afford to have a situation where there is just lawlessness.
Yes.
They've got to be educated from school, from wherever. Even churches have got to play a part to ensure that they preach this idea of a law-abiding citizen. That is key. And also it was to ensure that we therefore capacitate the police. You capacitate the police to be able to do their job.
So do we increase the force itself, or how do we do it?
As much as you would need to increase the force to ensure that it caters for the number of people that we have.
Yes.
And remember, in South Africa, more especially in Gauteng, what we have in terms of the numbers is not a correct reflection, because you've got those people that are in the country illegally, so that are not documented. That also causes a problem. So what we then need is, you also need to ensure that whilst you capacitate your force, there's got to be certain specialization where you cannot have a policeman that does everything. He's the one that is taking the statements there. He must be the one that is going to investigate matter. He should be the one that should, there's different crimes. And we should have police force that is skilled to deal with the different types of crimes that we have in our country, because right now we also have got these sophisticated crimes.
Yes.
We need to have a policeman that are able to deal with that as well. And we need, our police force, they should have teeth to bite. Because right now they don't have teeth to bite. If you have a situation where these people that commit heists, they will go on a freeway, block a freeway, because they want to rob these vehicles that carry money. It can't be. But because they know that our police force cannot bite, they are able to do that.
Somebody said maybe it's about time that we impose or come up with a death penalty or harsher sentences. Maybe that might deter crime. Do you agree?
As the ATM, we believe in the introduction of a justice-based capital punishment. I know many people think when we talk of a justice-based capital punishment, they are saying, no, we are saying we should bring back death penalty. No. Once you say introduce, it's something that was not there.
Yes.
When you're saying bring back, it's something that was there. The capital punishment that we're talking about is not something that was there, because the death penalty that was there previously, it was a death penalty that was politically motivated, that was there to punish politicians.
Yes.
But the one that we're talking about, he was saying is capital-based it's justice-based capital punishment. When we say it's justice-based, it means there'll be justice that will ensure that there's justice, so that no one is charged unfairly, no one is sent to prison unfairly.
Yes.
One might ask a question to say, but it happens that maybe one is accused wrongly.
Yeah, true.
When we are saying it should be justice-based, we are saying we acknowledge the fact that maybe that might happen. But how many people can be accused of killing someone today and be sent to jail wrongfully?
Yeah.
Serve a sentence, come back, and then be accused again? Because we are talking about repeating offenders.
Oh,
So
okay.
we're talking about repeating offenders, because we also acknowledge the fact that yes, we might have killed, maybe it's a mistake, but how many times do we commit a mistake?
And I think maybe you're right in terms of maybe if you focus on repeating offenders, then it shows that there was no rehabilitation from the person, or even if they were wrongfully accused. But once they do it for the second time, then there's no intention of change.
And I know most people say, no, but everyone has got the right to life. It's true, and we believe in that as well. But a person who denies other people their rights to life, therefore is automatically denying himself the right to life as well.
Clearly. I'm going to go to this part because South Africans have been struggling with this. It's very confusing, MMC. We didn't have electricity for a very long time. Now it's election, we have electricity. It was World Cup, we had electricity. We want to have a permanent solution towards this issue of load shedding. What is the ATM's position? And what are they doing right now that they were not doing all along? Or is it's just another, what they call it, electioneering? Somebody said it's man-made.
Indeed, load shedding is man-made.
Tell me more.
Load shedding is man-made. You've just given two typical examples. When we wanted to watch the World Cup, the World Cup rugby as a country, there was no load shedding.
Yes.
Immediately after that, we had load shedding. Now we're moving towards election. We pretending as if everything is smooth and running, so we don't have load shedding. After elections, we will have load shedding.
Yes.
Clearly, this tells you that this is deliberate. We are being told that the issues are with the coal. Luckily, I come from that environment.
Okay.
We told about the coal being wet. That's so many reasons. We're told about a coal being wet. When we're exporting coal to the UAE countries, when you're exporting coal to European countries via the port of Richards Bay,
yes,
the trains from Transnet go that way. There's trucks that go that way to export coal. And now there's this narrative that says, due to global warming, we should stop using coal.
Yes, I've heard that one. Yes,
it's clear. It's an agenda to say, we should remain poor and poorer, so that people can come in with, there's nothing wrong with the IPPs. There's nothing wrong with people coming with the solar system. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But now it seems like the agenda is to push that direction.
To suffocate ESCOM to open a door for them.
Yes. You
Okay.
suffocate ESCOM, you open a door for these people. So it's actually a takeover of ESCOM. Not considering the fact that there will be people that will be losing jobs. It's clear that we are dealing with a government that does not care about the people, because there will be lives that will be affected, negatively so. The entire Mpumalanga area will be affected, because
Yes.
the people on that side are working in those mines. Now, if you close down those mines, but you still want to export
The
coal.
same coal to the...
We want to export the same coal to the other countries. It's a problem.
So, MMC, are you proposing that we go the route of IPPs, get solar panels to fix electricity? What is the plan of ATM around this issue of power?
The first thing is you fix ESCOM. There's nothing wrong with ESCOM.
I think most people will differ with you. It's been bailing out ESCOM ever since. I can't even remember.
No, you've been bailing out ESCOM because you're not doing the right thing, because the main purpose is to ensure that ESCOM does not function. So that it creates business opportunities for those that have got the means. Unfortunately, it's for those that have got the means. It's just sophisticated ways to ensure that people who've got means are able to still get a bigger share of what the economy can provide.
So that means it's fixing ESCOM. Another one?
Then, of course, you would then, as to try and complement or maybe supplement what we are getting from ESCOM, you can then have these IPPs. You can have a mix.
Definitely, because I remember I said to this other guy that many countries they have found solutions around this issue. Load shedding has been going on for the past, I think, 15 years, if I'm not mistaken. And the question is it because of lack of visionary leadership to ensure that as the population grows, there is enough power? Or is it, what do you think was the main cause? How did we get here 14 years later with the same problem?
Look, when we say load shedding is man-made, it is man-made. If you look during the era of Brian Matuga, I mean, not
Brian
of
Molefe.
Brian Molefe, yes. If you can recall, even the former president Thabo Mbeki said, you know what, if Brian Molefe was able to ensure that there's no load shedding, why don't we just bring him back so that he can continue doing what he was doing? Because during his time, there was no load shedding. And right now, there's no load shedding.
So I'm not sure whether should we clap hands for Kosian or Ramokopa or should we wait for the 29th?
No, what I'm saying is that there's no load shedding because load shedding is deliberate. It's done intentionally so. You know, they want to push us as well to an extent where we're saying, you know what, let's rather sell ESCOM. Okay, government, you can sell ESCOM.
Yeah, we can't deal with it.
We can't deal with this thing. We want, because remember, electricity is no longer a luxury. In the olden days, it was a luxury.
Now it's a need.
But right now, it's a need. When there's no electricity, your life stands still.
Certainly. And you're right. I think we need to find certain better ways to fix problems in this country, not just maintain them, not just pretend to be working around these issues. You know, I look at how young people were promised jobs a couple of years ago, student teachers for like a year, then is back to being unemployed, and now you have 350s. On the issue of just in passing, do you think 350s were just electioneering, or do you think they could do better with that?
You know, it's electioneering. Like, I mean, they knew that people do not have a job. People are not working. So they want people to be dependent on them. You see, that is why I also believe even unemployment in South Africa is deliberate. The government does not want most people to be working because a person who is working is therefore independent. When that person goes and votes, he votes using his head, not his stomach. And now the government wants people to use their stomach when they go and vote.
There is a view of universal basic income grant, where there's a view that people should get grants wherever they are, of 2,000 or 3,000. Does the ATM support that?
Grants, yes, people should get grants. But over and above the issue of grants, grants should be for a specific category of people. But people, there should be mass employment. People should be employed. Our country should be reindustrialized. There should be factories that are opened. If you go to other areas, there were factories. All those factories were closed.
True.
We need to open factories. You know, you go to the textile industry. You know, the factories were closed. The government should support those industries to make sure that, again, we're able to export. Right now, everything in South Africa, we're exporting everything.
Yeah,
we're exporting everything. We export even food. I mean, you hear that just right now there was an issue with the eggs where, you know,
you can't eat eggs anymore.
I mean, really, in South Africa, when you've got all the land, but because we do not have a government that cares about that.
Because I for one, and some people would say that Gauteng hospitals, now we are going to the healthcare sector, Gauteng hospitals, and even across the country, healthcare is worse than before. And now people are wondering with the new HI, does the ATM support the new HI bill?
You know,
and what is the agenda there, if you can tell us?
Firstly, before you go NSI, you should first fix the healthcare system. You should ensure that all the hospitals, the government hospitals, the structures, everything is up to scratch. It should be up to standard, to the same standard as those private hospitals or clinics. But that will never happen. The reason why it would not happen is because the very same government officials do not take their people to these government hospitals to see the conditions.
They go to private hospitals.
They go to private hospitals. If the president of the country or the government was serious, the first thing they would say, okay, all ministers, everyone, we are going to use public hospitals with our families. Then, believe you me, you will see a great change in the hospitals. You will see the standard. You will so when you go to Charlotte Maxlake Hospital, it will be that general hospital that it was back then.
Even Baragwana,
Yes.
You will think that Baragwana will be maintained to a high standard, but it's just it's a good hospital, but sadly, it's depleting.
Now, if we're failing on that, we're failing to employ nurses.
And
there are
doctors.
nurses. There are nurses out there. And there's a shortage of nurses in hospitals, but they are not being employed. When there's a shortage, if you go to the health minister, he will tell you that there's a shortage of nurses.
Yeah, I was surprised to see doctors marching and say we are unemployed, but then you still have people waiting in lines in clinics, in hospitals, saying doctor can only get here at 2. The doctor can only get here at 4. And you're like, but there is young people out there who are graduates, who are doctors that are not given the opportunity. Is it the issue of budget maybe? They don't have the money to afford them?
You know, at times it's the issue of the will. That is why if people put ATM in government, would ensure that those people are employed. You know, right now, the environmental health practitioners are not employed. And that is why you have so many mushrooming spaza shops that are manufacturing, things illegally. So things that are not even safe. They are selling goods that has expired because there's no one inspecting that.
Yes.
When we have people that are trained, that went to varsity to be trained on that, but they are sitting at home not being employed. And so those are the things that we need to ensure that we rectify. We hire those people.
Because I'm going to jump into this because I'm looking at time as well. Illegal immigration. It's one burning issue in the country. And there's a political leader who said Africa must be borderless. Africa is one. I can mention his name, Julius Malema. So the question would be, under the ATM government, do we deport illegal immigrants or do we naturalize them?
Okay. As the ATM, we are saying there are immigration laws in South Africa.
Yes.
And everyone should adhere to those laws. We are saying as the ATM, there should be no one who comes to South Africa from any other country illegally so, without being documented.
Yes.
There should be no jobs that are given to people who are not South Africans. And we've been termed as being xenophobic because we are the ones that started with saying, put South Africans first. Because we believe as the ATM that when the South Africans go and vote, they are actually giving us a mandate to say you should put us first.
Yes.
In whatever you do, in whatever services that you give as a government, you should put us first.
Yes.
That therefore means even in employment, it should be South Africans that get employed first. When you are saying put them first, you're not saying we are excluding
Others.
but you are saying your priority is South Africans.
Yes.
Just like any other country that prioritizes its people. Otherwise, why would people go and vote to have a government that is not going to prioritize them?
But then right now, as we stand, we have over millions of them here in the country. Let's say you go into power in the next 100 days. Are you deporting them? What is your plan?
Those that are illegal, we deport them. Because remember now, that is a safety issue as well. Because a person who is not documented, even if that person commits crime, you would not know who has committed that crime.
Yes.
So once you allow people that are illegal in the country, you are therefore opening yourself to any type of insurrection, any type of a takeover.
I'm gonna go to township economy, where also this issue is quite a discussion, where most powder shops are owned by Somalians and Pakistanis, where most hardwares are owned by the Chinese, where most stuff in the township, where the government of what we have today have always spoken about the township economy and how to revive it. And right now you just spoke about having limits, putting South Africans first. Are you going to take those shops and give South Africans? What is your plan around township economy? Because already the economy that exists, which is your spaza shops and the hardwares, are already taken over by the Chinese, by immigrants, whether illegal or not, or whether legal.
Firstly, the government should support the local economy. It should support South Africans who want to participate in that sector.
Yes.
That is one. And when it supports South Africans that participate in that sector, it should also have programs that will also be educating our people to buy local.
Yes.
When you say buying local, buying from South Africans. In my house, I've told my kids, we live there's a shop that is owned by these Pakistanians, not far away from where I'm staying. I've told them that we don't buy anything from that shop. You rather go and buy somewhere else, but not in that shop. Because if you do that, we don't give them the market as well. They will stop doing what they are doing. But for as long as we fail to also
create our own,
then our people will have to go there. Because, this is closer to home, this is cheaper, and all of that. So that is where you therefore need a government intervention.
So I think when you speak about government intervention, you are talking about your NYDA, you're speaking about the Small Medium Enterprises Ministry that is there, that we have not, as you said, maybe they don't bite. They bark, but they don't bite. NYDA was supposed to be there to empower the youth who are entrepreneurs, but we have just seen it as more of an ANC thing. We have seen small and medium enterprises where they give funds, yes, to young people, but there is no follow-up and there's no more mentoring or whatsoever. So it just becomes money thrown down the drain. What would be the ATM's best approach towards empowering the local economy, the township economy within these structures?
You know, you've got all the structures that are there, good structures, but the implementation is not there. And there's no monitoring, and there's no consequence management. Because some of these things, you do not necessarily need to change them.
Yeah.
Some of these things are there, they are existing, but they need to be implemented, they need to be monitored, and they need to be consequence management when things are not happening all right. For example, the very same immigration laws. South Africa has got immigration laws like any other countries, but they are not being implemented. All that we need to do is to just implement those laws as they are. A person who comes to the country for a specific job, it should be a specialized job that no South African can actually do. But right now, you find people that come here to be waiters in a restaurant.
Yeah.
I was saying South Africans cannot do that, and these people that are employing these
Illegal foreigners.
yes, it's not because they love them.
It's exploitation.
It's just for exploitation because they know that they don't have the right to all these other rights that we have in South Africa. So they want to exploit them. And if we allow that as the ATM, it would therefore mean we are also participating in the exploitation of our fellow brothers from Africa. And it can't be.
Just my last question, second last question. Right now, what we are dealing with in this country, we are dealing with something called mental health issues. We are dealing with something called the Bella Bill now that has been introduced in Parliament, where it proposes a certain education that most faith-based organizations have been fighting and rejecting, to say this cannot be, that our learners are going to be exposed to such content or curriculum. But also, again, there's a one that speaks about selling alcohol at schools and all of that. As a faith-based organization, what is your stand on the Bella Bill?
You see, this is where we have a problem. We do not have a government of the people. Because the government of the people listens to what the people want.
Yes.
It does not come and enforce things that are foreign. Who comes up with these things that go to government to say, okay, no, let's do this? It's not the people. The things that the people want on the ground, the government is not providing. It's a problem.
Yes.
But they want to come with things that are foreign and enforce them to our people.
Yes.
It is not correct. It is not right. So that is why we therefore need to have a change in government. We need to change the government, have the government that will care for the people, a government that will be the government of the people. That is why even in our manifesto as the ATM, even before we go and do the manifesto, we go on the ground, meet with the people, understand what is it that the people want, so that we are able to then respond to the people. That is why our manifesto, if you look at our manifesto, all the issues that it touches is issues that are central, issues that are close to the people on the ground.
I think maybe you didn't answer my question. Do you reject the Bella Bill?
Yes.
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 Okay. MMC, the camera is behind me. I'm sure you can see behind me right there by the corner. Tell the people of Gauteng, why should they vote for you in the end on Tuesday, actually, or Wednesday? Yes, on Wednesday. Why should the people of Gauteng vote for ATM on the 29th of May? There you go.
People of Gauteng, I've been on a campaign trail around Gauteng, and around Gauteng, I've picked up there are so many people that do not want to go and vote because they are saying it's the same, nothing changes. And I'm saying to them, if you don't go and vote on the 29th of May, you are therefore saying the status quo should remain the same. And what I'm saying, if you want change, you need to then vote differently. And that voting differently is voting for the ATM, because the ATM is the one that will bring the changes that you need. The ATM is a party, it's a self-funding party. The reason why we are a self-funding party is because we want to owe our loyalty only to you as South Africans. In that way, whatever you need, you'll be able to respond to your issues, be able to render a service that you demand as South Africans. Not accounting to someone else, a funder that is sitting somewhere else that says, no, we don't want this because it's against us. Please give ATM your vote. Our president, Vuyelwa Zungula, has been in parliament standing against the injustices, holding the executives to account. He's been there very consistent in doing that, without insulting anyone, for just putting facts as they are for everyone to see. Yes, unfortunately, in our country, because, in parliament, it's a system of numbers. People vote to say, okay, even if it makes sense, they will just vote against it because it's a party line. But we are saying to you, South Africans, we are saying to you, Gauteng people, go and give the African Transformation Movement a chance by voting for it on the 29th of May. I thank you.
No, you heard it here first. The ATM, did they win your vote? Will you be voting for the ATM? Share your comments on the comment section, and remember to share the content and like. This was Manifesto Unpacked. I am Bafana Modise, proudly brought to you by a podcast party. Till next time, ciao, ciao.